what you say. Bless your heart, need it in the worst way. La la la, la 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 la. I'm a champion, la la la.
Hello, I'm Sharon Adjustment. I'm the co-founder of the Israel Conference. We're dedicated to the business of Israel, and today we are able to bring to you wonderful CEOs, entrepreneurs, and venture capitalists who are doing business in Israel and who are making a difference. As we study the Israeli economy, especially in challenging times, we get to learn about the inventiveness and the creativity that is brought to us worldwide by Israeli entrepreneurs and technologists. Today we're delighted to be able to talk to Vered Levy-Ron, the CEO of Syte, a visual search company based out of Tel Aviv, but with customers worldwide. And our shopping experience is going to be enhanced, and your experience will be enhanced as we get to know Vered. Vered, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Sharona, for having me. I appreciate it, and thanks for the chance.
Yes, delighted. You know, many years ago we met.
Yes.
And you were a young CEO and vibrant, and now you're a young CEO with tons of experience and success.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about how you became you.
Thank you. So I guess in many ways I've had the typical Israeli CEO background. I grew up in Israel. I did my military service in the intelligence in the 8200, 8200 unit, and did my bachelor degree in Israel, and then moved to the U.S., did my MBA at Columbia Business School in New York, and stayed for another total of 12 years. I lived in the U.S. and
Wow.
gained experience, mostly working as a management consultant, but then as a manager. And then came back to Israel and started, I worked a bit in consulting, but then went into management. And yes, I think that when we met, it was my second CEO role, probably about a good 15 years ago.
Absolutely. Well, what was your first CEO role?
It was of a company called Yaliku, which was doing community investing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the CEO of that company. It was the first one. It was a very early stage company coming out of like trials and pilots and just raising money. And I liked it and continued since then to do, I've done actually both CEO roles, and I've also done, I always like managing, so I've also done line positions in large, usually multi-billion-dollar public companies where I've been like general manager of a business unit. But the thing I like most is growth and making something out of not much, building things. And so, I still live in Israel, and I'm married. I have 2 daughters and a dog, and and definitely really love what I'm doing, and love the business world ever since I started.
It's quite unusual for someone to start in business and start at the top. What were the qualities that you had that caused businesses to say, Vered Levy-Ron, you don't belong in middle management or lower management, you go right to the chairman's office?
First of all, I think from the beginning, I really had a very good business sense, and I credit both my parents for giving me the right, sensibility and genes. And I've always been very, very driven. I love challenges. I want to always grow and do more. And so I started my career as a management consultant. I worked at a company that no longer exists called Booz Allen and Hamilton. I was in their New York office in their telecom and high-tech practice. I did that for 6 years. And so when I started looking for work, a real job, not just a consultant, I was looking for a management position, and I was lucky to find someone that believed in me and gave me, it was funny, my first role as starting from consulting was in a phone company called IDT. And
Very, very well known.
Yes. And the then COO, Yona Katz, said to me, listen, we have this business unit over there. It has about $250,000 in revenues. It's not really going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's been doing a good job. You take it. And, in about 3 years, it grew to be about $70 million in revenues.
Wow.
And so I was fortunate to have somebody that believed in me, but also delivered results and grew the business significantly. So
you got an oyster and you delivered a pearl.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So it was, and then I loved it. I loved it. I loved I never went back to consulting. I really liked it, and so I've always stayed in business since.
So now your second company, which is where I first met you.
Yes.
What did that company do?
The company was called Humanize, and the product we called it Snappily. and that's where we met. It was a company in the portfolio of Benny Landa, who's a visionary entrepreneur, and it was my honor to work with him for 9 years. And what we did was really 3D image processing, and we had all kinds of solutions, both for the business market, but also what was a lot of fun and where we met was the ability to do short runs and digital printing of 3D images. And that's when I had been coming a lot to LA. We had done some projects with some of the Hollywood studios and 3D cards. And I was there for 5 years.
So telecommunications, 3D printing, marketing activities, you're developing a real 360 skill set, plus having worked at a very famous consulting firm and developing a company from scratch, even though you're giving the 4 pillars around it, but you still had to make it deliver. So that's an experience that very few people have. And you've continued to traffic through other companies as an executive. Of course, as a woman executive, you have additional challenges, but let's leave that aside and just say your talent is what's taking you forward. Now you're with a company that's a fascinating topic because we have become a community that we live on visualization. We like short sentences and big pictures. And it sounds like your company, Syte, is actually focused on the big picture.
Yes, so Syte is a combination. First of all, I love tech, and I love trying. I guess it's my consulting background. I'm never afraid of a new industry, and I like learning, and love the challenge and know how to build the relationships. So Syte is a combination of a few things I love. It's a lot of we have a lot of expertise around image processing, but also a lot of machine learning and algorithms, which I really am fascinated with.
What does Syte have its sights set on?
So Syte is a visual search and discovery company, and basically what we do is we make it intuitive for shoppers to find what they're looking for with images and not with words. So it's the ability, for example, if I'm looking at a dress and I like it, but it's not exactly what I want, I can click a button that says shop similar, and it will show me all the similar items.
Wow.
Or if you're looking at a pair of shoes and it's out of stock in your size, you can click on find similar, and we will find similar items in your size. And basically we have a part of our platform that's consumer facing for the shoppers. How do you find things easily? But we have a lot of efficiency tools on the back end. And so it's a great company. We've been able to grow nicely and really revolutionize kind of the shopping experience.
That totally revolutionizes the shopping experience. I'm so tired of clicking buttons to say I want this size and this color, and I might use the wrong term, and then I'll miss buying what I really want to put in my basket. Can you share with us some of the marquee customers that are using Syte?
Sure, with pleasure. So we're really great for brands, for marketplaces, and for retailers. And Syte works well when you have a rich inventory. And so we're fortunate to have customers such as Michael Kors and Walmart and Chico's and Hibbett Sports and Ellis and really great brands that allow us to grow. We're still a small company from Israel, so our challenge is always market access. But we have a good name, and our challenge is having more customers hear about us. But we've been very fortunate to work with some of the leading brands. We have 115 customers around the world. About 60% of our revenues are from the U.S., and the rest are split between Europe, LATAM, and APAC, so we do work globally.
Are some of the customers, do they straddle multiple countries? Like an H&M is out of Sweden, but they're worldwide, or a Zara is out of Spain, but it's worldwide.
Yes, definitely. I mean, we'll often start working with a brand in one country, and then we'll add additional brands, additional touch points, and of course additional countries. So we do have what we call multi-local. It's the ability to manage Syte on their website for different countries. So it could be several tens of sites because they may have a local site for each country, and that's what we do. Yeah.
In addition to being able to help the shopper have a better experience, you must be accumulating a lot of data that the retailers want to know about, a little bit for predictive demand. What's trending, what has stopped trending based upon search. How are you organizing that data?
So it's a great question. We see several billions of transactions a year at our customers. Before I answer your question, I'll also say that the nice thing about visual search is we see all the events on the customer website, so we know how do people behave when they're using visual search and how do they behave when they're using more traditional, let's say, text search. And one of the cool things is that, which is nice to know, when your consumers are having a good experience and finding what they're looking for, they convert better, they buy more, more items, more dollar values, and their loyalty increases. So we did a year-long study for our customers, and over a year, customers that were visually engaged and were finding what they're looking for were 50% more, had 50% higher loyalty than other customers.
Wow.
So regarding the data, so we see a lot of data, and it gives us the ability for customers that are interested in that to help them do some of the predictive analytics. We often collaborate with data vendors to feed them the data.
Sure.
Because we're not necessarily, that's not our main offer. We're about the visual search and discovery, but our customers use it for managing inventory, for demand projections, for understanding competitive situations, for looking at trends. So for example, one of my favorites is a customer of ours where we were looking at the data with them, and we said that comfortable shoes are going to come back. And next thing we knew, Crocs were back and the flat heels. And so you can actually see the trends coming into the market, and it's very powerful data.
I would imagine it is. Have you found that the average basket size is also increasing as a result of visual data because the consumer has a pleasing experience?
Yeah, so it increases, I think, for a few reasons. One of the things that happens a lot is you're looking at a sweater on the website, and suddenly you'll say, wow, I actually like the trousers. And how do I now find the trousers? You have to go back and you have to search with them. With Syte, you can click one button, shop the look, and we're very good at identifying all the images. And so you were looking at a sweater, but now you can click on, I want to see trousers like this, or I want to see shoes like this, or I want to see a hat like this. And that increases the average number of items that people are buying and increases the basket. So it makes it very intuitive to shop the look, we call it, and find that, or we can also make styling recommendations. And so it really encourages finding what you're looking for much more easily. And so that's, definitely people buy more and spend more, and the conversion can be, 3 times higher than what you're seeing on your site otherwise.
The next question is that the cart abandonment. It might not be an area that you specifically address, but because the consumer is having a positive visual experience, how do you keep the consumer or help the retailer to close the deal so that the cart doesn't sit there without a credit card associated to it?
So I think we can support the retailers not only in the abandoned carts, but also abandoned shopping journeys. So what we're able to do with consumers is we have an offer that's kind of an add-on to email marketing. So we don't do the email marketing, but what we do is we have the ability to track what the user is looking at. And then, for example, let's say you looked at a pair of trousers and you never even added it to your basket, but you dropped. We can then try and understand the reason, and we can send an email marketing and say, here are visually similar trousers in your style, and the decisions can be made to show things that are on sale or full price or similar. And so that really, we do that for jewelry, for clothes, for furniture, and that really increases the experience. The other thing we can do is in your cart, we can help increase the basket. So if there is something inside your cart, we can offer similar items that go with it nicely in terms of the styling. So it is something that we focus on. And
you're retail of the future.
I think today consumers are looking for personalized journeys and for a really easy experience. And some of the very big retailers will have some of these features, such as visual search and discovery, but most retailers do not have the bandwidth and the expertise and the size of the data science and machine learning teams to develop it.
Yes.
This is the only thing we do. We're really good at it. And so I think we really fill in that gap and help them get an out-of-the-box ready solution. And then they can focus on other things or build on top of it. And so it's really a powerful combination for most retailers.
Well, let's talk about your company and the team. If you're filled with data scientists yourself, programmers, strategists, out-of-the-box thinkers, how big is the company?
So Syte has about 70 people.
Wow.
And so we're a relatively small company. We work with very large retailers, as I mentioned earlier. And so we work hard, and most of us are based in Israel, so it's an Israeli team.
Yes.
We travel. I'm in LA now, for those of you listening to this. So I'm in LA now. We do travel to visit our customers, and I think we work, of course, on video calls too. But most of our team, like the core of our strength, is the technology.
Yes.
So of the 70 people, nearly 50 are in the R&D and the tech side.
Yes.
And then the rest is a small customer success team and a business and sales team.
Well, Israel, of course, is known for producing awesome technology, and so this is one that's there. Now, we're living in a period of time where there's a lot of tension, and the tension is popping out. Since October 7th, how has the company changed its relationship, A, with the technology team, and B, with customers?
So that's a really good question. I think the first thing I wanted to share is that I need to thank our customers for being supportive of us, because we had some major customers go live before the holiday season last year, and they worked with us. We were under bombs, and they waited while we went into the bomb shelter and came back and did not lose faith in us, which is not an obvious thing. So I think we're fortunate to have customers that believed in Syte, and our team worked very hard to deliver. We do feel a difference because, first of all, unfortunately, we've had some customers leave us because of the political situation. Yes.
Because they are having troubles themselves, or because they don't understand that working with awesome technology companies is still in their best interest, even if their politics don't align?
Yes, they it's a matter of politics.
Okay.
These are Syte, really, because we have great technology. We're working also with a lot of companies from Muslim and Arab countries in the Middle East. And yes, they've made the decision. They've been very, actually, we've appreciated it in a way. They've said, we like working with you, great ROI. We hope to work with you again, but it's coming from the top. And so we definitely feel the impact on the business of the political situation. And we try and find the companies that are interested in technology and want to buy the best technology and don't want to spend time thinking of the politics.
Yes.
So that's what we're focused on, and we go to conferences and meetings and really try and build our brand name as a cutting edge technology.
Yes.
But it has been challenging.
I would imagine it's very challenging because the biases pop out at this inopportune time.
Yes.
And yet the retail has a need to be boosted, and they need technology like this. Are there competitors to Syte?
So I would say in general that you're very right, that retailers are also having a difficult time for other reasons because of the economy, especially in the U.S. with the economy, with inflation. And so to me, I think Syte is a really good solution because it boosts every customer that comes. You have a better chance at converting them and of them spending more money and being more loyal. So, the ROI is there. In terms of competition in the U.S., Syte's core is visual search and discovery, and we don't have competitors in the U.S.
Okay.
But of course, we're in the space of recommendations and discovery.
Yes.
And so tech search companies and recommendation companies are offering, I would say, adjacent solutions. But in the core of what we do, which is, I like this, I want to find similar ones, or I want to boost profitability by visual similarities, no one is doing what we're doing.
Because you're in the retail space, in the C-suite of people that would be the ones making the decision to bring Syte on site, are you dealing with the chief marketing officer, the chief information officer, the chief revenue officer, the chief strategy officer? Where do you enter into a company?
That's a great question, and it varies from company to company. I would say that the two natural starting places for us are the technology organization, so CIO or CTO, and the other place is the chief digital officer. And so because they manage the business, and basically we allow them to take Syte and to improve the performance of the online business. So for many companies, the natural starting point is the chief digital officer or the e-commerce leaders. But especially in some of the largest companies, we do come in from the tech team. Because they want to develop on top of Syte, or they are facing build versus buy decisions and they want to really examine the technology. So in those cases, we'll find ourselves working both with the tech org, very deep into the tech org, but also with the business organization. And sometimes there'll be other entry points like innovation or marketing, but I would say the e-com business or the technology are the natural places for us to enter.
All right. Yeah. So they're bringing the technology in, even though you are actually part of the new look and feel of a website for a retailer.
Yeah.
when a retailer has both brick and mortar and a website, what are you finding in your statistics of are their sales increasing on their websites? So their blend of brick and mortar sales and blend of online sales seems to be coming higher than usual on e-commerce?
So first of all, I will say is that many of our customers have both physical stores and digital stores. I call it Fizzy-Digi. And so we are doing actually some cool things. So before I answer your question, I just maybe will share some experiences because Syte is allowing you to bring the experience of being in a store online, right? You look with your eyes and you're like, I like this, but I want something like it, right? Or I like this, but I want it with short sleeves. So we bring the physical experience into the digital, but we have a few customers that have done cool things by doing the other way around, bringing Syte into the physical stores.
Really?
So I'll give you one experience. For example, Hibbett Sports. They in the store have they have a device, and let's say you're looking at sneakers. I'm sure everybody can relate to that experience when you want sneakers and they're like, yeah, let me go check, and they disappear in the back and you don't know what's coming back and what sizes. So they'll take a picture of the shoe and they will say, this shoe is available in your size. If your size is not available, here are similar ones, and we're connected to all their systems. So they've been able to do that. Our customer in Israel, Terminal X, they have it in the store. So in the trial room, they have a screen where you can try on things, and if you want to see more, you can then say, find me similar ones, and Syte is powering that. So we do some cool things around.
That would be such a wonderful experience. I recollect going into try-on rooms and having a sales clerk come in and run around and try to find me things, and it was usually a non-event.
Yeah.
And if I use Syte, perhaps that exact blouse and that exact jacket would come to me and I would buy it.
Exactly. It's all about really giving a better experience. And I think today, in the beginning, especially post-COVID, online grew very fast. But today, consumers are looking to go back to stores. But they also want a more cool experience. They want it to be, interesting and interactive. And a lot of the department stores are adding spas and restaurants. And so and doing all kinds of stores within stores. So I think Syte plays into that trend of doing things differently in the store. In general, with our customers, the percent of online sales varies greatly.
Yes.
It can be 100%, it can be 5%, but what's common to everybody is the desire to grow the online business, and this is where Syte helps improve, as well as other tools they use online. But I think we're a key part of their tech stack, and we try and make it more efficient. So when you bring a customer in, how do you make sure they have a good journey, and how do you make sure they come back? And that's where we play.
I love the idea that Syte is on premise, because that takes away the friction between the consumer and the sales clerk, where you can just hold up and say, I want this sweater but in blue, where is it?
Yeah.
Sounds like another area where Syte can really help the retailer drive revenue.
Yes.
So you're driving feet, you're driving eyeballs, you're driving sales, you are part of visual search, which is Tomorrowland. It's so impressive, Vered, and it's another company that you're the leader of, a serial CEO, taking companies that are young and innovative and turning them into highly profitable, highly desirable companies. How cool to know you.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Yes, it's definitely what I love doing. I love deep tech, and I think the challenge is how do you translate that into really useful products, and how do you build the relationships with your customers? Because I always say to my team, we're the techies. Our customers really know they're the retailers, and so there's so much to learn from the customers. And some of our best innovation comes from listening to our customers, and I kind of see that as my role, kind of combining the technology and the market needs. And so I love what I do, and thank you for the kind words.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to have another technology coming out of Israel, led by a really thoughtful woman executive.
Thank you.
And so, kol hakavod. And we're delighted to know as Syte grows and glows, we hope to follow the story and bring you back when you have nailed your next 115 customers.
Yeah.
And
I will say amen to that.
Amen. All right. Toda rabah.
Thank you. Thank you.
To see more conversations with extraordinary Israeli business entrepreneurs, visit theisraelconference.org.
Watch me, son. I hide, but I stay humble.